Hello, peeps. I'm gonna give it like 3 minutes for everyone to come in, and then I'll do a little bit of an explainer of what we're doing tonight. I thought it was just gonna be apple tasting, but I lied. It's not. I changed my mind when I was showering. As it goes, I'm gonna put on some lip balm. We are using Kiehl's Lip Balm number 1 today. This was in an amenity pack on a flight. It says sample, not for retail sale. Yes, so this is Mom's. This sweater was Mom's. I believe she gave it to Grandma and Grandma didn't want it. And so I was like, well, if you don't want it and Mom used to wear it, and I actually remember Mom wearing it, I'll wear it. So she gave it to me and I'm wearing it, and then I wore it to see Grandma the other day and she was like, that looks good on you. Your mom, she never wore it. And in my head I was like, I'm pretty sure one, Mom wore it, and I'm pretty sure that Mom didn't like it enough that she gave it to you to wear. Because Grandma kind of got like Mom's hand-me-downs, and that was an instance where I was like, I am thankful that there are reminders of where Grandma's headspace is at these days, because I keep wanting to treat Grandma like a rational person who understands logic and has experienced the same realities that I have, but those are the moments where I get tastes of reminders of Grandma's not you. Grandma does not look at the world the way you do. Grandma does not experience things the way you do, and Grandma does not see the world the way that you do. So I'm trying to be increasingly more mindful of the difference between Grandma and me, because it's kind of like we speak the same language, but we actually don't speak the same language. And if you can't really understand someone or make them understand you effectively, then there is no point in communicating sometimes, because it's kind of like conservatives arguing with libs, and you just know that nobody's going to win at the end, so why even bother expending your energy on this? And I'm experiencing the same thing at work, where I'm finding that I simply do not have the skills to communicate effectively to some people on the team, and I am misunderstood and interpreted to be a version of myself that I don't want to be. So I'm learning now that I really should just identify the people who cannot understand me and to cease communication with them as much as possible and is professionally accepted, and to just give up on the endeavor. So here are the apples that I stole from the apple event I went to today. It has been 3 minutes. I promise you I will give you an update on what's going down in this live today with 3 minutes into the live. These are a variety of apples that I got from an event that I went to in Brooklyn today. Yes, I did walk there. If you follow Palm Queen on Instagram, one of my favorite accounts ever, one of the sweetest people ever, his actual name is William. And let me just link his Insta for you all in case you want to give him a follow. But he has a book out called Odd Apples, and today we had a exhibit at the Invisible Dog in Brooklyn, and William spoke on the history of different kinds of apples and how they came to be, where they originated, where they kind of got migrated to through trade and different animals eating it, and what kind of species we have now, and the intersection of the apples that we are most familiar with in America right now and capitalism. how it came to be that we know Red Delicious and Golden Delicious and Honey Crisp and Cosmic Crisp, and why those are like name brand apples. Hi, New Zealand. And some of these are actually cider apples, so they are very tannic, very acidic, very not edible straight. But I just grabbed them because they smelled good or they looked cute, and we're gonna taste some of these. But first, I forgot that I defrosted venison that my cousin Tim gave me. He has friends who hunt, and obviously when you butcher a whole deer, it's a lot of meat, and he had too much, and he gifted me a bag. So I thought, I don't want that to linger in the freezer forever because I will. So I defrosted it on Friday thinking I haven't had animal protein in a very long time and I have this in the freezer, so I should cook it. But obviously the weekend went by and now I'm like panicking because Sunday scaries are kicking in and I see the meat and I'm like, fuck. So we're gonna cook that. He told me that we should kind of rinse it and soak it first, so that's what we're gonna do. It's a lot of meat. Tim gave me a lot of meat. There's probably like, oh, I can weigh it, but I'm gonna guess 4 pounds maybe here. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. Pretty good. Cook it with cider apples. Interesting. Okay, well. Ooh. What happened? We have a ghost in here? Ay, ay, ay. So, I don't know. 4 pounds of meat seems like a lot. I don't know if I should cook it all. Alright, let's go with that. Oh, half of it is still frozen, so I don't feel too bad about chucking it back in the freezer. But we'll go ahead and we'll let this half soak and we'll freeze the other half. I pulled out a lot of condiments that have been 2 years expired now. I really want to do a fridge clean out. So I'm going to try to use up some of these condiments, and I really think I'm going to fuck up Tim's venison so bad, but he gave it to me, so I have free reign to fuck it up as bad as I want now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I can't wait to experiment with expired shit. Hi, Copenhagen. How many people am I cooking for? Just me, girl. Just me. But I'm a hungry girl, and I haven't eaten meat in a very long time, and I go through, I'm not vegan or vegetarian. I know I should be, but I do go through weeks where I'm just like, give me meat. And I do feel like that episode coming on. So as our venison is soaking, let me introduce to you the condiments that I'm thinking about using. It is very salt and acid heavy, which might be good for the gaminess. I don't think I have any wine or alcohol, really, unfortunately. So we are, well, I have some brandy. I guess I could use brandy. I don't know though. We have some other things we can use first. Okay, so here is a tamarind concentrate that expired in November of 2020. We're gonna cook this down first because I just don't know how good this is. There's a little bit of weak ass fish sauce from this brand that I hate. I hate it because their flavors are so nuanced and subtle, and when I buy something like fish sauce, I want it to kick me in the face. We have the jar of dill pickle that I have pickled other various things in it. It is getting really mishmashy. I'm also going to boil this, and we can use it as like a brine. There is this Korean samjang, so it's seasoned soybean paste. It's a little bit fermenty, slightly, very whiff of alcoholic fermentation going on, made with wheat flour, soybean, corn syrup, salt, onion, sugar, garlic, fructose, and koji seed and ginger. So that sounds good. I have the sushi ginger. Don't even ask why I have it. I don't even remember why I bought it. So that's what we're working with right now. And that's what I'm thinking. We're just gonna cook down some sauces, and then when the venison is nice and soaked, we drain out some of the bloody water. I'm just gonna go ahead and like try to sear it in the Instant Pot and then cook it in the Instant Pot. So hopefully that pans out. The last time I had venison was when I volunteered on a farm in junior year of college. So that was like 2009 or 2010. So over a dozen years ago. I'm very excited to be eating venison again. There's a lot of varieties of apples. Yeah, for sure. I'm just looking back on some of your comments before I start getting meat hands and sauce things everywhere. And once we get the meat in the Instant Pot, that's when I will be taste testing all the apples. I promise I will be taste testing some apples, but it's just not going to be right now. So if you want to see apple action, maybe come back in 35 minutes is my guess. I can't always make chili, but girl, that's boring. I want to fuck shit up. I want to experiment. The only way I learn what not to do in the future is to do the things that I shouldn't do once, twice, sometimes like 8 times. And then I learn. Sometimes I'm a slow learner, but eventually I catch on, you know? Hi, Munich. Yeah, I didn't buy the Instant Pot, Mom did. And she never used it. But yes, it is good. It is good. Meat hands and sauce things. I like that band name. Hello, I'm Schneckenhaus. Okay. Alright. So, here we go. I'm going to put this in a safe space. Oh. I was going to put carrots and an onion, but I don't know if carrots and an onion will work. Carrots might. Okay, let's prep some carrots first. I too am interested to see what I will do. Nobody will know, not even me. Season. It'll pick up more and more throughout October, but apple season has begun. But also apples keep super well, so it's kind of always apple season. Oh God, runaway carrots. I should really be sharpening my knives soon. So look out for that live if you're interested in some ASMR. Hi, Japan. usual live stream time, but I stopped doing live streams because work is crazy, I'm tired, and mom is dead, so I feel like my whole reason for live streaming for mom to see what I'm up to disappeared a little bit, but I'm always happy when I do have the desire to put on a live, and folks who like this time slot can join, so welcome everyone. I also feel bad sometimes, like yesterday's live, I put one on just because I wanted company, but like obviously when I'm not cooking, there's a lot that's missing from what you get out of the experience as viewers, because I do feel like, I don't know, something like 85 to 92% of you probably watch these to see me cook, and I always feel bad when I'm not cooking, because I feel like it's pointless. Although I do feel like there's 12% of you who will watch every live no matter what I do. It's fascinating. We have hit, I'm not big into numbers, as you know, but we have hit 50K subs. And it's always fascinating to me that, like, any given video that I put on, lives or edited, rarely break 10K, which means only less than 20% of my subscribers are actually watching the videos that I put out. And it makes me curious why people subscribe, because usually when I subscribe to channels, I watch them. I'm not blaming you for not watching my stuff, I'm just curious why you're even subscribed if you don't watch my stuff, you know? Because that's a big discrepancy, to have 50 subscribers but only less than 10K views on most of my videos. It just makes me curious. But I am super pumped whenever I have energy to cook, and it's not for work, because I do like cooking, but it is hard to feel that kind of spontaneous organic joy from cooking when I have so many leftovers to eat and I spent my whole week cooking for work. So when it does happen, it's a great thing. Gonna show off mom's beautiful bowl. This was the bowl that she liked to eat out of when I visited her. If the day comes that I break this bowl, I will be very upset with myself. But I am already preparing myself to be upset at myself. Inevitably, one day, shit will break. Yeah, I never expect anyone to rewatch lives. It seems like the attraction of watching a live is to watch it live, you know? I'm putting on this live so that I don't feel my Sunday scaries. But yes, they have hit me. So some Chinese recipes actually rinse and soak the meat in water overnight. That's to get rid of like off tastes, excess blood stuck in the meat, just so that your meat has a pure taste. I didn't do that because I didn't think, I didn't prepare. So I'm just rinsing the meat like 10 times right now, kind of giving it a little massage. I'm seeing some blood wash off, whatever it is. Some people say it's not blood, it's some protein thing. Whatever it is that looks red, it is washing off a little bit. And I am smelling the gaminess of the meat. So, you know, something's happening here. But it's not going to be as clean of a taste, which I think is fine for me because I actually enjoy the gaminess of game meat. I think that's kind of the whole point. Fred is in the bedroom, and since I am cooking, I'm not going to go show you him right now. But rest assured, he's in the house somewhere. My hair looks cute. Thank you. I just washed it. It's wet. Wet and slick. Okay. I don't think I will be feeding Fred any of this, unfortunately, because I'll be seasoning it plenty. There's going to be a lot of salt. He also has such bougie food now. Come on. He don't need my shit. I'm going to turn the Instant Pot on to saute. We're not going to get a great saute on this because we have way too much meat for that small surface area, but you know, we'll do our best. I'm going to put some of my compost away in a bag and freeze it. Tub is getting full. I'm going to heat up some oil. Let's use this really expensive oil. Okay, 2 tablespoons worth. I'm thinking if we should put some vinegar in there. And I'm looking at this black vinegar and it's almost finished. But we do have the tamarind, which I did say I was going to cook down, didn't I? Alright, so I'll cook that down. Oh, too much going on. Overwhelmed. So here's what 2 years expired tamarind concentrate looks like. Gross. I think what I'm going to do is to cook all of this down with some sort of sugar and vinegar and see if we can just make a sauce out of it, because I really don't want to keep this shit any longer. I think it's going to die in the fridge. So whatever we end up using, we use, and whatever we don't end up using, we don't use. That's all. It is tamarind in the pot. Correcto. Ready for the splattering to begin on the counter. I'm going to wait for this all to come up to a simmer. I'm going to simmer it and then I'm going to taste it, just in case there's anything funky in there. I don't want to taste it when it's cold. Food safety and all, you know. What else? Tamarind is kind of sour and earthy in my experience. It's a little bit of a dusty cranberry vibe. Vegetal, slightly. And it can be bright and citrusy. It really depends on the quality. It's usually sweetened a little bit in most applications. There's tamarind candies too. Those are really good. In fact, I'll show you a tamarind candy because my coworker Alina gave me some. I actually just saw Alina today at the Apple event. I put it together with my Coca-Cola gummies. That was not very smart. But here's a tamarind candy. It's basically tamarind with the seed still in the middle, coated in sugar. It's very good. I like it. Our Instant Pot is heated. were to properly brown this, I would need to do at least 2 batches. Probably not gonna brown. Excuse me, there's a lot of moisture and water coming out, probably because I just rinsed it, first of all. Second of all, it's been defrosted. So I might not do that whole browning thing. We'll see how it cooks down in 5 minutes or so, maybe. But it might not actually be worth it for me. Yes, lots of jars, for sure. All right, it's sputtering all over the counter. So I'm gonna give it a taste now. I think it's mostly heated. Okay, very sour. Very, very sour. What I'm going to do is put this remaining jam in there because, guys, I have a very bad habit of binging on nut butters and jam, which is just like so much sugar. So I think this will help me. Maybe not binge on it, but I do have like 4 other jars of jam. But I think this will taste very good. We got the sweet, we got the tart. And together, they will make an amazing sauce. I might even need more jam. I'll have to pop open another jar. no idea what hippie horse show is. But that sounds interesting. We're definitely gonna need more sweet. Where are my other jams at, though? Ooh, that venison is starting to smell very venison-y. And I think it's running dry. Yeah. You browning, girl? Okay. All right. We got a little bit of browning going on. Maybe. Browning in the Instant Pot is a bitch. It's so slow going. Yeah, I have some sushi ginger that I'm thinking about adding. Maybe liquid and all. So here's what I'm thinking, because we don't have alcohol, but we do have this, which Erin so nicely got for me from Turkey. It's pomegranate sauce, aka pomegranate molasses. I think it has sugar. Oh God, it's stuck. Oh God, okay. And I think it'll do really well in the sauce. One of the most awful ways to package your pomegranate molasses, for sure. Things are happening, guys. Things are happening. And I know I didn't soak it, but Mom has this barley that I've been meaning to use. I'm going to rinse out like a half cup of barley and throw it in there. barley is like a chewier grain, like oatmeal for sure. All right. I think Fred is very sleepy, and maybe he's not into game meats as much. Not sure. I've not had properly prepared fufu, but I would like to one day. There are spots in New York City that do it. So I'm basically making like a tamarind ketchup of sorts almost. We have sweet, we have salty, we have savory, we have sour. Black pepper. I'm going to add in this fish sauce so we can say adios to it. But I do think we're going to need some more sugar. So, is there anything that's not sugar that I can use up here? I'm going to put this packet of ketchup in there, because I don't want to stare at it anymore in my fridge. expensive, girl. Oh, so I can use honey in my oatmeal. So I'm going to veto that, but good suggestion. The ultimate purpose is to have a condiment that I can use that's not tamarind sauce sitting in the fridge expiring more and more. Also to make a mess on my countertop. And my floor. Ay, ay, ay. I hate cooking sometimes. Oh, of course. So I just bought some of this for work because I have to make a stuffing soon that calls for these, but this is more than I need. I'm gonna put like a 1/4 cup in there. It's going to add tartness, but it's also going to add sweetness since they are sweetened. Right. We have some nice browning happening here. I think I'm gonna let it go for like 3 to 4 minutes more, and then we can go in with everything else. gets in there. Ooh, that's gonna make for a very interesting sweet and sour flavor for sure. Hell yeah, I'm down for that. Uruguay. Yes, these were dill pickles. Now they're just a hodgepodge of pickled onions and dill in dill pickle with still a little bit of dill pickle left. 4 to be precise. They're very good, very delicious. Putting them in with the venison now. I think with the pickle liquid, we might be good on salt, so I'm going to skip out on the samjang. And I also think that the sushi ginger that I'm chopping up now will be pretty salty too. So I'm just going to see what that tastes like. Oh yeah. Super gingery. I love it. I think we can go a little more on the sour. All right, let's check up. Nice, nice. I'm going to turn off the saute heat, and I'm going to drain our barley. Going in with the barley. There's bone on that venison. There is bone on that venison. And once the heat is off, I'm gonna make sure that we are scraping all the fond off the bottom. Sometimes the Instant Pot, when you go from saute to pressure cooking without turning off the heat, it will give you a burn warning. And if you have any food bits stuck to the bottom of the pot, it'll trigger that burn warning too. So I'm trying to eliminate our chances of getting a burn warning. I'm so sorry for my camera work right now. I can't pay attention to the framing and the composition, but you get the idea. Okay, now we are going to go in with this deliciously salty, sweet, gingery sauce. All of it, which is probably going to be a disaster, but too late. This is what experimentation means. And I have enough liquid that's covering maybe about 60%. I'm debating whether or not to put in more liquid because it'll likely burn a little with the barley. Let's see what flavorings we can add into it. Ooh. Okay, so I made some boiled peanuts for Grandma. It has a slightly 5-spice salty broth. I'm just going to pour in a little bit of that. Okay, I think we're good. Let's give it a final stir. And then we shall eat apples. Oh, that's gonna be a weird one. I'm gonna do manual 28 minutes. Don't ask me why. I just decided that. Okay? All right. Before we go further, I must clean the mess I've made everywhere because tomorrow I have to film more stuff for work. It never ends. So the more cleaning I do now, the easier my day will be tomorrow. Boiled peanuts kind of just taste like cooked beans. The texture is softer. It's not roasted, so it doesn't have that roast flavor. You know, you ever eat a roasted almond and then you eat a unroasted raw almond? They're very different flavors. So, you know, obviously boiled peanuts will taste a little bit different. Time to label this tamarind sauce so I don't forget what it is. Apples and hummus, that's the first time I've heard of that combo. Interesting. I won't say no to it, but doesn't sound like it's my thing. For those of you wondering, I think this ginger expired last July. What'd you get?
What's up?
What'd you get?
Oh, just some broccoli. Gonna try to cook some lunch for tomorrow.
Okay, but I'm cooking now, so can you wait?
Yeah, whenever you're done.
Are you not gonna take Jollibee tomorrow?
Oh, that's for home.
Okay. I'm gonna be baking like 3 pies this week. So if you could try to consolidate the space of that chicken as soon as you eat more meat, I would appreciate that. Or you can just take it all to work tomorrow and keep it there if there's for space and more.
Take what to work?
Jollibee.
No, it's for home.
Right, so did you catch any part of what I just said before?
Yes, I'll redo the space.
Thanks. Are you gonna be eating any of my curry split pea leftovers anymore?
No, you can have.
Okay, I'm not asking if I can have it, I'm asking if you will be eating any more of it.
No.
Okay. always excited to see Aaron. I think there is, without a doubt, Aaron being his favorite human. Yeah, you know, I don't get it either. He just doesn't love me as much. But to be fair, Aaron feeds him too, usually at night. My mise en place is awesome. I had no mise today. It was all very impromptu cooking. All the chefs are frowning upon me right now. I mean, that makes sense. I'm definitely the more stressed person, for sure. He's also seen me cry a lot, so I'm sure that hasn't helped him. Okay, our Instant Pot is going, and we are going to eat apples now.
Kendall asked me if I was going to taste test apples with you.
Do you want to?
Sure.
I would like you to start framing things in a I want, not in a you way, if that's possible. Just in general, not according to this most recent interaction, but something I've been noticing is that you'll frame it in a if you want, but I would like to know what you want when I ask. I can't promise I remember where all of these are anymore, but I will do my best. When my venison is done, do you want to have some?
Venison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you not smell it?
I smell meat, but I'm not. There's no way.
Venison smells very gamey. I'm surprised you're not offended by the smell. Okay, so here's the pamphlet that came with the exhibit today. I wrapped an apple that was half rotten so that I wouldn't get smushed all over my backpack. But it was at the Invisible Dog, and this is a photo that William took of knobby rossets. So they do look very knobby, and they are very russeted. And the exhibit was called Odd Apples, A Botanical and Cultural History and Rare Fruit and Tasting. William Mullen, and I'll read you a little bit for information and education. It is estimated that there are over 7,000 identified apple cultivars, but as a culture and as consumers, we only taste and interact with a few of them. Modern capitalism has flattened this wild fruit into a global commodity. But beyond the grocery store, apples are a truly wild and strange fruit that never grows true from seed and manifests itself in all sorts of colors, shapes, sizes, and flavors. Brooklyn-based artist William Mullen invites you for a presentation on the apple's history and its Miocene beginning to its historical intersections with migration, capitalism, and culture. The presentation will feature a tasting of dozens of rare and odd apples, and it goes on to list several of them. Let me see if I can find my photos so that I can tell you what these are as we taste them. Okay. So my favorite, I believe, are these little guys. Well, actually, I can't promise all of them. I took a crab apple. So one of these is Hughes crab, spelled Hewes, crab, and it's a crab apple, and I'm trying to figure out which one. I think this one is the Hughes crab, and I think these two are Wixons, and Wixon is my new favorite apple that I've tasted today. It is so small, but the flavor is quite amazing. If this is actually indeed a Wixon, so let's see. Yes. Oh. There you go. What do you think? Did you want to appear on camera for Leslie?
That's not her name.
Kendall?
Mm-hmm.
Guess the camera doesn't want to be there though.
It's really good.
Right? It's very dynamic. It's a little bit puckery. It's definitely very sweet. The flesh is very dense, but not so dense that it hurts your jaw. And it's just overall a delightful eating apple. The only thing is it's tiny, so you know, like.
Tiny.
So Wixon is spelled Wikson.
Oh, it's lovely. Great flavor.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I believe this next one is going to be a cider apple, which means it's not really meant for eating. This one is called the Cornish gillyflower. Cornish, Cornish, gillyflower spelled Gilli, flower, Flower. It smells very fresh, kind of like a Granny Smith and a cucumber. But I can't tell because my whole house smells like venison right now. The flesh feels a little bit soft.
Where'd you get venison?
My cousin Tim gave it.
Nice. Did he shoot it?
No, his friend did though. Oh, it's very pleasant. It has strong notes of banana.
Yeah, wow.
Very, very creamy, soft texture. It's not quite mealy in that kind of grainy way, but it is very, very soft. Here, Fred. Smell.
The banana flavor is weird. That's off-putting.
You don't like it?
No.
No, I like
You
it.
can have the rest.
I will have the rest. I will cut them all now so that I don't have to hesitate eating them because laziness.
Freddie likes banana apples.
I don't know if he does. Does he look like he does?
Mm-hmm. He loved Jollibee today.
You gave him Jollibee?
Of course I did.
Wow. Guess you don't have kidney disease anymore, Fred. All right, next one. Hughes crab. So it's this one. This one might actually just be a cider apple. We'll see. Yes, Freddie? It's got a soft mealiness to it, I think. It's pleasant. So, it's soft and mealy, probably a little past its prime, but the flavor is very delicate, very sweet, slightly floral, very pretty, and it ends on a slightly astringent note. It's not quite bitter, but there is something a little bit soapy about the way it ends.
Picking up lavender in that one.
Lavender, okay.
It's floral,
Yeah,
but bad texture.
yeah. Aaron doesn't like his soft apples. I've come to appreciate them. Next, we will try the Swayzee, spelled Swayzee. It's a russeted apple. You can see it looks like a russet potato with a lot of splotches and blemishes. I love russets. You can feel how dense it is, and it actually has these spots that you see here. William actually talked about these spots today. I don't remember what they're called, but basically they're pockets of like water that actually makes the fruit taste sweeter. They're just like water crystal pockets. Super tart, very wincy tart,
Oh yeah.
kind of like a warhead tart. It'll make you squint a little bit.
I just like, yeah, it's sour.
Do you like it?
Yeah. Very pungent. Wow, that's so tart. These have been so impressive today. They taste like candy, almost like
They're very
there's a
special
banana.
apples.
They almost taste like literally flavored by a non-human hand.
Yeah, they're very special apples. Apples are an amazing fruit, but like William presented today, they've been so commoditized and commercialized that we don't know most of the varieties out there. We only know like the 5 they have at every single grocery store. People who try to capitalize on apples, give them brand names and like trademark them, and nobody else can use those trademarks, and you know, like the rest of our world, kind of fucked. But if you have a farmer's market and they have apples, do you want another piece?
I'll have another slice of Sour Patch Kids apple, yeah.
They're really amazing. I highly recommend that you check out your local farmers markets for apples.
And go to Shoots if you live in Western New York.
More details, Aaron.
Farm market.
How do you spell it?
SCHUTTS.
Best cake donuts ever of my life.
Oh, I forgot about those. I was just thinking about the apples.
Okay, next. I don't know if I took photos of all the varieties, unfortunately, but. Okay. Ananas reina. It has the shape of like a pear almost. It's taller. If I hold it this way. You can see the pear shape of it. And it's supposed to taste amazing. Pretty crisp cut.
Does it taste like a pear too?
Well, I think ananas means like pineapple in French. Smells very Asian pear-like. Not as honeysuckle as an Asian pear, but kind of sweet-leaning, fragrant summer flower.
Friends of fragrant summer flower.
A little bit lemony. Very juicy and crisp.
After the last apple, this tastes like nothing.
I really like it. It's very delicate.
Nah, it's too plain for me.
It's very juicy and delicate.
Good texture, but my palate has been destroyed by chili too much to pick up any of the subtle notes here. Tastes like water.
I assure you it tastes like delicious water.
Mm-hmm.
Flavored with fruit juices and lemon.
Yeah, so I wish water tasted like that. Flavored water. Fred's asking for something.
He's like, y'all are eating.
He's like, I don't know what an apple is, but I want it.
He doesn't want it. He wants a treat.
He doesn't know that now. Right now all he knows is he wants it. If we gave one to him, then he'd know he doesn't want it. So what you want an apple, boy? Will.
I think his name could be William too. Wouldn't he make a good William? Treat water. All right, onwards. We continue. Orleans Rainette. Apparently, this was Marie Antoinette's favorite apple.
Oh, français.
The one that we have is very soft and rotten on one side, but they do tend to be delicious anyway. So I will cut Aaron a nice unblemished part because he's a princess. And I will go ahead and eat around the shit. What do you think?
This one's also a bit herby.
Herby?
A bit floral, a bit herbaceous.
Mm-hmm.
Dense texture.
It actually smells extremely like a Bartlett pear and an Anjou pear. When they get really ripe, they almost start to smell like sweet soap.
This one's a bit too cloyingly sweet for me the more I eat it. It tastes like soap too.
It does have a little bit of a soapy taste.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it, but it is an acquired taste, I think. It's very tart.
Tastes like herbal essences.
Oh, no it doesn't. You see that water pocket pattern again, a little bit? Should anyone justify colonialism? What? Who's justifying colonialism and on what grounds? I can see you justifying colonialism as a historian saying, well, we wouldn't be in our current world, which is, parentheses, absolute shit in a lot of ways. Unless we did colonialism the way we did. But, like, you know, if you ask the colonized versus the colonizers, I'm sure they have different ways of interpreting how much you can justify colonialism. That's hilarious. This last apple, I don't know if I got a photo of it. Oh, it's called the Gibston something. Let me see. I'm having trouble identifying it from this very poor photo that has it up in the corner and out of focus. So we'll just taste it. William told me it's very good. Here we go.
Thank you.
Lemonish piece.
Oh, we never have flies in here.
It's okay, just let him eat.
It's good.
You like it?
Yeah, it's trying to see. They've all been distinctive in some way. Those just taste like generically good apple.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's apple flavored. This one.
This one has a slight spicy puckeriness right when you bite in. It's like tart, but in that very like concentrated cinnamony way. Doesn't taste like cinnamon, but you know how when you eat a whole spoonful of cinnamon, your tongue will start to feel pricklied? Not because the cinnamon itself is like spicy, but when you eat a lot of it, it starts tasting spicy. This. It's sweet, it's tart, but it feels spicy when you first eat it. It could be the Gibson Golden. I don't know. I can't read my handwriting. Or rather, I can't read my photo. I took a very tangential photo. Did you enjoy your apples?
Are we done?
I think so. I think the other two are repeats.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for tasting. Kendall, I hope you enjoyed that tasting. I hope you guys go seek out some farmers market apples ASAP. Some of these apples were picked in Vermont because they're so rare. Only one place called Scott Orchards has it, apparently. But I am rich in apples. How delighted. This unspoken rule of never eating leftovers more than once or twice, and especially not if they're over like 3 days old. So I am going to eat this split pea curry, spoil alert, that I made for Budget Eats this week. But our venison is 5 minutes from being done. Do you think if I let it rapid release, it'll be cooked, or should I just let it gradually release? Like I always do. If I let it gradually release, you'll have to look at my face for a little bit longer, and we'll have to decide what I can do to entertain you. But first I shall go pee, because water plus apple makes pee. So, it's been in the Instant Pot for approximately 24 minutes, because I set it for 28 and we have 4 minutes left. Alright, I'm back. What shall we do then for the next however long it takes for this to I'm probably gonna rapid release it after 15 minutes of gradual release. Hi, Freddy. What you doing, bud? You wanna hop on here? You wanna sit here? You wanna sit here? No? You don't want to sit there? I'm tired. Sounds like a good haul, Linda. Oh, natural release it is. Well, that means you're going to be staring at me and Fred for the next hour and a half. Come on, let's start our 90 minutes of staring at people on the internet that we can't see.
Oh, baby. Mm-hmm. Do you hear his gentle wheezes? Does the internet?
He's too cute. I think he likes face massages if you do it gently. Does that feel good, Freddie? We all deserve some face massages. All right, Fred, that was 2 minutes of staring. We have like 88 minutes more to go. You ready?
Do you need to get that?
No.
Okay.
We're natural releasing it. He doesn't like that. His tail's going crazy. Yes, his whiskers were the defining feature for me when I looked at his photo on Puppy Kitty's Instagram when we were looking at potential cats to adopt, and I was like, he has the longest whiskers.
Fred, that's you. Right there.
Mr. Whiskers. You done? Okay. That was good. That was a good run. You want to give him some treats?
Sure. Yes, baby.
He has old man face. Is that true? I don't want him to be old man. I always thought that Fred had like an overgrown kitten look to him. He always looks like a big kitten. Yes, Freddy is getting fat, according to my friend who just saw him. She could not stop commenting on how fat he is. And, you know, I've been told that senior cats are supposed to have a little bit of extra weight on them. It's apparently healthier. But he was about 14.1 pounds when we went to the vet about 3 months ago, so...
You didn't hear that one. Oh, you did? It's over there. 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 Ready? There we go. Any estimate on when I can cook?
You can cook now.
Okay.
I'll go to the bedroom while you cook. Unless you guys want me to leave the camera in here and you can watch Aaron cook. Do you want an audience?
You can hang out, June, and talk to your people. Your
I
friendly people.
want to go relax in the bedroom. So, you guys, you're like kids with parents who are divorcing. Do you want to stay in the kitchen or do you want to come into the bedroom?
Oh, I don't want to be here alone with them.
Oh, you don't want to be here alone with them.
Yeah,
Why not?
They're your people.
You don't want to be alone with normal people.
No, I said your people.
But these people like you.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not. I'm just kidding. They're great. They're fine folks who keep June in business.
Okay.
The June Enterprise.
I will just let you know that Fred is pretty big as a cat. Not in terms of fatness, but just like in terms of length. He's pretty big. I'll stay in here for a little while and keep you guys company while Aaron cooks. I don't mind. And Fred seems to like following Aaron around, so for people who like Fred content, I think this will be the best case solution. We'll try to make this divorce as gentle on y'all as possible, you know. I get it. What does KMS mean?
Kill myself. You asked.
I know. Somebody just texted me that, and I was like, what, huh?
Somebody? What was their context?
Yeah, I guess.
Do I still have tofu, or did we use it all?
You still have tofu.
Oh.
Do you want the flavored one or the not flavored one?
What if there's an open one? I'll take the open.
There's no open one.
And I'll take the flavored. Somebody just texted you, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, I think Jane sent me a video of people kissing,
Oh.
and she can't stand it.
I have no comment on that.
I I too like Fred more than I like either one of us, so I agree with you. I don't blame you at all for thinking that, feeling that. Very valid. Okay, while we're here, I would like to rant about certain things. For example, comments left on my Instagram and on this YouTube channel about how I am too depressed and that my grief is somehow unacceptably dark. I would like those comments to stop. One, I am depressed. It is partially because I have had a history of depression, and also because my mom died last year. And due to a lot of other life factors, such as fucked up politics and fucked up systems of operation and just general existential prison fuckeries. But when people tell me, hey, you seem like you're in a bad place, I really, please want you to go get therapy and professional help. It's really inconsiderate on two levels. One, how do you know I'm not already in therapy? And if I'm already in therapy and you're still telling me that I'm too broken in some way, does that mean that I'm beyond help when it comes to therapy? Is the thought pattern that triggers in my head, and it makes me upset, and I really don't like it when absolute strangers tell me to go get therapy, because on a secondary level, not everyone can afford therapy, so that's a second assumption that you're making. I thankfully can afford therapy, but not everyone can. So when you're telling an absolute stranger to go seek out therapy, take into consideration whether or not they already have a therapist, whether or not they can afford a therapist, whether or not they are at that part in their healing journey where they're ready for a therapist, if they have any support factors that can help them locate a therapist that works for them, because there is nothing worse than suffering from mental illness and being paired with a therapist who doesn't get it. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and it's a waste of mental and emotional resources that sometimes you already don't have and are in the red for. It's not as easy as telling a hungry person, just go eat something. That's not how therapy works. So I just need to rant about that, because any platform that I'm on, I get these comments of people trying to like fix me and heal me, and you're not doing shit by commenting on someone's page saying, hey, I think you're really broken, please go fix yourself via therapy. So I got a comment on the last Cairo vlog that basically said that, and I got pissed off enough that I posted it onto my Instagram, and I said, PSA, please don't say this shit to me. And then I asked and posed a question box in that story that says, what are things people have said to you that you don't want to hear ever again? And for the benefit of all of us who have family, friends, frenemies who are going through shit, here are some things that you might consider not saying to them, even if you think it might help them. If you only tried, insert literally anything, to a disabled person, it was God's will. You could have asked for help when I'm sharing hard times. Everything happens for a reason. Everything's going to be okay. Wow, you lost a lot of weight. You look great. That my cancer was probably from food I ate. Not true, but I'm fat, so they thought it was.
How do you know where your cancer's from?
You don't. They're just
Exactly.
idiots.
Yeah, so it might have been food. I'm just saying that you don't know where it's from.
Continuing with things you might consider not saying to people. You're just upset because nobody is attracted to you. You're such a happy person to be around. Oh, you sure don't look, insert ethnicity here. Have you tried losing weight? Parentheses, every fat person has tried every method, fuck off. Don't worry, odds of insert traumatic event happening to you again are slim to none. To me, with bipolar disorder, with depression, have you ever thought of getting over it? Just push through?
That's good advice.
You just need to look for the positive. When people tell me, when people think they need to tell me I'm overweight, like I don't know, do you think you should really be eating that? You need to lose weight. You must be so, so sad now that you're alone. I'm sorry that you're so sad. You'd be so pretty if you just lose weight. Learn to budget to afford therapy, said by a psychologist. Okay, obviously we have a lot of fat-phobic comments in here, which is unfortunately to be expected. But when somebody tells you to budget your life better in order to afford a necessity that could actually save your life, by the person who's charging exorbitant amounts, not because they want to, but because the system they work in, demands that they charge a certain amount, and they also need to live and make a living. But just telling individuals to learn to budget their lives better to afford certain things, it's also not how things work. Yes, I've worked minimum wage jobs in New York, and I've been able to afford rent, but I could not ever have felt comfortable enough to save any amount of money to then spend $100 per session on therapy on that income. I had the money. I had over, I would say, probably $10,000 in savings after 2 years of working minimum wage jobs and working a second job tutoring kids on the Upper West Side with very rich millionaire, potentially billionaire parents. I don't know.
I don't think they were billionaires.
But still, making that money, working 2 jobs, it was hard for me to spend over $20 on anything in a single transaction. When it came to eating with friends in a restaurant, it gave me severe anxiety and stress thinking about, okay, how much is this going to be after I factor in tax and tip? And if I eat with 4 people and they all order drinks, am I actually responsible for sharing their drink costs in my split of the bill? So just coming from that background of earning low wages and also growing up with parents who were immigrants and pretty working class, lower middle class sometimes, working class other times, it's just hard for me to justify. But now I'm in a place where I feel a necessity to go to therapy, and I have a job that covers 6 sessions, which isn't a lot, but it's 6 free sessions, so I use it. It is helpful, but not everyone can afford therapy. I can't even justify asking my doctor for 2 additional items on my routine blood test because I don't know how much the lab is going to charge, because the last time I asked for 2 additional hormones to be tested in my blood test, I got sent a bill for $280, and I'm just no. I guess I'd rather be sick and not know about it than pay $300.
To be fair, most of those comments are things you should say to somebody if you hate them. So those are good things to say to enemies, if you want to make somebody feel like shit.
And make yourself a shitty person. Continuing with things you might consider not saying to people. That's not how you wear that. Okay, fashion police. At least you're a stronger person now. What kind of cancer did your mom have? Lung. Oh, does she smoke? My mom has commented more on my SSRI weight gain than me being healthier mentally. Also, a very hard thing when your parent is the toxic person in your life. That's really hard. That's kind of like having an addiction to food and disordered eating, because you can't quit food the way you can quit potentially other drugs. I'm not saying, you know, it's easier to quit other addictions. I'm just saying it's like impossible to quit food because you need food to live. So in terms of like quitting parents, yeah, I guess you can cut parents out of your life if they're absolute shit people, but it is also mentally and emotionally and psychologically so challenging to actually detach yourself from the people who brought you up and potentially biologically gave birth to you, so that like a part of you are literally them.
Is this okay to use?
Yes, can you leave me like half of that, please?
Okay, I'll only use one clove.
You can also use garlic powder or crunchy garlic that we have somewhere in there. But those are just a selection of things that if you ever thought you might say to someone, maybe reconsider not saying it to
But
them.
you should say them to Hitler.
Hitler's dead. He don't give a shit. Very, very fascinating. And this is what I really like about just being on Instagram, is I can learn a lot from people, not just straight up knowledge like politics and history and definitions of terms, but also just like personal experiences, because I don't know, probably sometime in my life I have said some variation of some of these things and I didn't realize at the time how bad they were, but like now that people are like, please don't say these things because I don't want to fucking hear them.
What's the worst thing you ever said to somebody?
I mean, I've probably said very nasty things to my mom, like, I never wanted to be born, and you ruined my life by giving birth to me. That's pretty bad, right? But I also feel like a lot of kids said that growing up, because the world is a shit place to be. I think it would be an excellent bonding opportunity for parents to acknowledge how right their kids are when their kids are acting out.
Can I give that to you direct? Thank you.
So instead of like going against the current, I know it's harder to do than to say it, but if you can resist going against the current of their push and pull and riding the current with them, I think that would be a really nice way to bond. I'm trying to do more of that with Grandma. It is very challenging. I have not really succeeded yet most of the times. I succeeded maybe like 20% of the time. But it is always emotionally easier for me to like agree with Grandma, even though in my heart of heart I don't actually agree with her. I superficially agree with her, and
That's what I would do with my toxic grandmother. I would say...
Oh, Jupiter's Realm says Phil's game hurt.
Yes, that's why I'm in a bit of a somber mood today. But like I was telling June, I don't think it's reflective of the team's hopes for the season, because it was very weird in the heat with a lot of injuries and really bad luck in a number of situations. So it'll be fine. Oh, anyways, what I would do with my toxic grandmother is whenever she was being toxic and, just sort of like, because she was very old and frail, although to my mother she was even more toxic when she was a little bit younger and, could actually do things. I would just be like, I would either just agree with whatever she says and move on and, let her think that she has convinced me of something or made me do something. Or if she's demanding something, I would just be like, I'm not going to do it and I don't care. That's the thing about people like that, is they're not stronger than you physically. Like, they can't force you to do anything. It's only words that they have to hurt you. And if you let the words slide off of you, which is sometimes easier said than done, but if you try to make that conscious choice, be aware of them and go into a situation knowing that it's going to be like that, then it does help to not let them have power over you.
Pain as weakness leaving the body is something that is very prevalent in like boutique gyms. They will have that kind of motto plastered on their walls. I do find them very dumb. I do feel like studios recently have started to eliminate those sayings because they realize how harmful that kind of workout culture is. But if you go to a gym where it's mostly like middle class, upper middle class, white professionals, I guarantee you they will say shit like that still, because that's very much within the culture of like achieving and aspiring towards bigger and greater things, because you can always self-improve to be a higher you.
We love achieving, don't we, folks?
Like saying things like leave it all on the floor, you're the only thing holding you back. I don't know, fucking mind over matter. I never understood the phrase mind over matter, actually. Like, it took me years to even understand what it literally meant, but figuratively it never made sense to me. Mind over matter?
You want to try some Jolly white rice?
No, I'm good. Is it good?
It's white rice.
Okay. Mind over matter. What the fuck does that mean? I also have a little bit of like, I'm still working out whether or not I like the saying, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything, because it does feel a lot like censorship to me, and it does feel a lot like playing into PC culture, which, you know, we were all very gung-ho about PC culture, and we were like, yes, protect everybody and give everybody space, but I think PC culture has reached the point where it has become toxic in and of itself, because people are afraid to have conversations, people are afraid to have mistakes, and so instead of talking at all, they just don't talk, which also leads to miscommunication and discrimination and problems. Because whenever you instill a culture of fear, you are generating a discrepancy of equality. To create a culture of fear is to create strata of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable and who's allowed to do what. And I find that problematic. So I don't know if I like the phrase, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, because that's not the way I live my life. I say a lot of things that are not nice, but I also welcome people to like call me out on it. And
isn't PC culture about protecting people of different races, genders, sexualities, religions, that sort of stuff?
Yes, but
like,
you can't...
You're not about to be criticizing somebody. You're not about to be saying mean things about somebody's, you know, religion or something, right?
I mean, I'm not here to like...
What do you mean when you say PC culture has made it harder to be honest with people?
It's really hard for me to give an example without getting in trouble at work right now, but that's the first example that came up.
Okay. There's no hypotheticals of, like, let's say, you know, XYZ corporation that isn't yours that you could think of?
Let's just say this. I think PC culture has turned it into, you can't criticize anyone who's from a marginalized background, because when you criticize anything about what that person has done, you are criticizing them from a point of being in a higher power division than they are, which might be the case, but I also say, like, as an Asian female, I don't like take it personally, and I definitely don't take it as racist if you were to criticize something that I did wrong at work. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of things have turned into that, where, like, if I criticize someone, it's because of their identity that I'm criticizing them. Sometimes you are just criticizing them because they're not doing a great job.
So it's not that you want to be able to criticize somebody for their gender or race or whatever. You want to just be able to be honest with people and not take it as a racial critique or something.
Yeah, it's not always a personal attack, but we've turned all criticism into ad hominem attacks. So for example, let's just say this comment that really triggered me today about how, let me read you the comment so that we have a full context of what I'm talking about here. The comment was saying, don't you think you are going overboard with your depression and your grieving?
Overboard.
Maybe you need to get into therapy for your depression and blues after your mom passed away. Please get some help professionally. So that, I think, is a personal attack. But it's not because they're racist, I don't think. It's not because I'm an Asian or that I'm a female that they're saying this. But I think that my content is a little bit sad and dreary and mopey for them, and it made them uncomfortable to the point where they're like, I don't know why you're putting out this content. This isn't normal content to put out. Therefore, I think you are not normal, and therefore, I think you need help getting back to a normal baseline. And so I'm going to recommend that you get professional help, aka therapy. That's the way I see the logic from the commenter's point of view falling into place to result in that comment. But, like, there are ways of providing commentary and criticism without it being an ad hominem attack. So that comment could have been, like, coming from I statements. Like, I found this video to be very depressing, and I find the topic of grieving to be very hard to look at, and I didn't like this video. Are you okay? Like, even asking are you okay is more open-ended and less opinionated and less judgmental than I think you need professional help. So I would love to release a funk album to help me with my blues, but I don't really like blues, straight blues music. I do love funk though, so like something groovy and funky.
John Mayer's a bit bluesy.
That's why I love John Mayer.
You said you don't like blues.
He's a little bit bluesy, okay, but he's not blues.
How's my pan looking, June?
Your pan's looking great, Aaron. Looking great. You want to use the rest of that black vinegar?
If it's just a few drops, I don't want it to be overpowering. Yes, that's fine.
Thank you.
Vegan lunches for the week, Jude.
Nice. Yeah, and I really didn't understand coming into this whole process after my mom died, why there's such a big stigma around grief being shared. I have gotten so many comments on Instagram about, like, how unacceptable it is for me to, like, share grief so publicly. Obviously, those are few and far in between comments. Most comments are very supportive, and most comments express that my thoughts being spoken out loud has helped them in formulating their own feelings about their own grief processes. But the pushback that I have gotten against sharing grief is very surprising. I did not understand, I still don't understand why people are so against it. A lot of people are like, grief is meant to be experienced in private. What you're doing here publicly is not grieving. Like, the act of shaming me for grieving publicly, I just don't understand the logic of it.
Do you want the last 2 buns now, or I'll eat them tomorrow?
You can eat them tomorrow.
Okay.
I have the curry to eat, unfortunately. Yes, these are buttons. This is Mom's sweater. I'm getting very hot in here.
So take off all your clothes.
Take off all my clothes. I'm not wearing a bra underneath this, so you will see everything, and we will definitely get banned. Audrey says people don't like being reminded of their mortality. Our culture in the U.S. around death and dying is very hush-hush. There's nothing wrong with sharing grief, and more people should do it. It's also very hush-hush in the Chinese culture. Like, every time I had a bad dream that involved someone getting hurt or dying, like, my mom would be very uncomfortable around talking about it. My mom never wanted to talk to me about, like, funeral arrangements and death wishes, you know, plans for what to do when you are reaching your end of life. It's all very taboo, and I don't get it. Like, we will all die. We realize that, right? We realize that at a deep core place in our existence, that
Peter
we will all die. So the more time we let elapse without publicly acknowledging that we will all die, the more fear builds up. And people can manipulate that fear to make you do what they want you to do because they know you are scared of dying. And so for me, to process it publicly and to acknowledge it out loud is kind of me building up my own immune system around death, dying, and aging. I'm not there yet. It's a process. Like, I just looked at photos and videos of myself from 2019 and the beginning of 2020, and I was like, damn, she was so young and so much more beautiful back then and so much happier. And obviously my friends will be like, you don't look that different, but like I do. I recognize it. I recognize the aging. I feel the aging. I feel like a different person, and I struggle with it. I don't really like how much I've changed in the past 2.5 years, but that's just reality. I have to accept it. I can't really rewind anything, no matter how much beauty products I put on my face, no matter how much I work out, no matter how clean I eat. There's only so much I can do to like stop the aging process. And it's, in a way, it's not for me to stop. But our society would like us to believe that we can stop it, so they can keep selling us those products and diet pills and clean superfoods. So it's very exhausting. It's very exhausting because not only do you have to process it within yourself that, hey, like this is where I'm headed, you are also having to fight against all of these messaging that's being sold to you as, hey, you don't have to age. You can actually stop aging. And they use this weakness of our innermost desires and our innermost fears of dying to just squeeze all the labor and all the money and everything that we have out of us, thereby aging us even more in the process of trying to stop aging. It's like a self-defeating move. It's a self-defeating culture. You can't win. You can only lose. And depending on how much money you have to play with, you can lose faster or you can lose slower. But you will lose. So get ready to be a loser. And once you can acknowledge that losing isn't the worst thing that can happen,
I did the Steam strategy. I think you taught me this.
yes.
It works really well for
Yes.
this.
Fantastic. Yeah, the fact that we have 3 days of bereavement at most offices and companies is insane.
It took June a lot longer than 3 days for Sufang. She's
Yeah.
still working on it.
And if I didn't have the amount of PTO and bereavement to take 2 months off to sort through, my mom died suddenly. I needed time to sort through everything, not even considering my own emotions, but just sorting through her papers and sorting through her house and like finishing her life in a way. Wow, I've never thought about it that way. I had to finish her life.
Sorry.
What are you looking for?
The lid for the big pan.
It's there. It's in the bowls. The big pan?
Yeah.
That one. You're holding
No,
it.
the stainless steel pan.
It's outside with the stainless steel pan.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, it took a whole week for me to like come out slightly of the shock. Can I eat this broccoli that's on the stove now?
What? I didn't leave you any broccoli.
Right here. It's on the stove.
Can you eat it?
I just did.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's good. He made good broccoli and tofu.
You can have anything in the pan. Go for it.
Thank you. I will have my own curry. Our venison has dropped. Look, the dingly dangly thing has dropped. All right. You ready for the liftoff? Oh, it smells so gingery. Holy crap. We definitely put too much ginger in that. Schneckenhaus called it. I am going to just let it cool off a little bit before I even attempt to eat it. Silver Spoonify says, I think it's the way every society says no matter what, get over it and get back to work. Mourning, sick, family issues, get over it and back to work. Yeah, that's how capitalism works, right? How will it continue to function if we don't just treat ourselves like cogs in a machine and go back to work? Can you imagine the amount of power we have as workers if we just all went on strike? Our world would fall apart within like 2 months max. Within the first 2 weeks, it'll be complete chaos. We'll have no food. People will start killing each other. And then within 2 months, it'll be the fall of civilization. We have created this very fragile environment where we are all buying into the same delusions because we've bought into it for generations, and it's what we've been brainwashed with for generations. But like, man, if one day we really reach the end of our wits and we're like, fuck this, none of us want this shit anymore, like Fred leaving the room, it's game over. Game over for all of us. It'll be like a social mass suicide, really. So my favorite thing about Buddhist beliefs is getting rid of your attachments. Right now, I would say, like, I'm deeply attached to my responsibility for Grandma. I'm very emotionally attached to Fred. But if I didn't have Grandma or Fred to take care of, I'd be like, fuck yeah, worldwide strike, let's go. Let's see how much shit we can just burn down in a month. It'll be delightful. I live for the chaos. The apple tasting is done. I'm sorry, you'll have to rewind and watch it later. How much of this venison do you want to try, Aaron? Aaron,
What's up?
how much of this venison do you want to try?
Is it ready now?
Yeah. You don't have to try right now, I'm just asking. Can you grab a small bowl?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Very interesting.
Yeah. Did you already toss out the Jollibee bones?
Oh, the ones I ate today.
Yeah. How much carrots, pickles do you want versus how much meat?
Oh, let's just have a small regular serving mixed.
There might be bones in here, okay? So
Okay.
just be careful.
Is this your first time having venison?
No, it's my second time in my life having venison.
Nice. This is my first. That's enough. Thank you.
Well, it's a very untraditional first. I'm
Why?
sorry to report. Because it's not the way you usually, it's not the flavor profile or the way that you usually cook venison.
Oh, how is it usually cooked?
Usually like ground, sometimes in a chili setting, because it can be very gamey. It's rarely served whole. I also use very weird flavorings.
That's super delicious.
You like
Wow.
it? I'm so
Yeah.
surprised that you like it.
Really nice work, June.
Wow. Do you even want to know what went in it?
No,
Okay.
great work. Thank you.
I've never had moose, but I will come visit you in Alaska if you kill a moose and cook it for me. Paperologist, it sounds like your mom has issues. I'm not saying that to hurt you or to hurt her, but it sounds like there's a complex there that's preventing her from acknowledging the fact that she will one day get sick, get old, and die, and leave behind a lot of things. And I think the idea of thinking about death is something that she's not ready for, and definitely hasn't processed mentally for herself, emotionally or psychologically inside yet, so she can't give you an answer. So it's a double whammy when you ask her those things, of her not having thought through it herself, feeling almost ambushed by the question because she wasn't ready and now she has to think about it, and then feeling the shame of not having thought about it, and feeling the guilt of potentially being a burden to her children one day, and then all the shame and the guilt and the unpreparedness and the fear coalescing into one secondary emotion of anger, which then causes a reaction that is, oh, so you want me to die.
There's tamarind in that.
There is tamarind, a lot of it.
I just pieced it together when I saw it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it works. It's tangy.
If your parents are not ready to talk about death, it's just gonna suck for you, unfortunately. And you can't really push them to be ready because it's just such a personal thing, and it's totally dependent on the culture that they were brought up in, the values they were taught, and the taboos that they have held closely to them for their entire lives. They've been alive at least double the amount of time that you've been alive, and so they're pretty set in their ways, and it's going to be very hard to change them, and it's just going to create a lot more friction. And I'm not discouraging you from attempting to get answers out of them, because you will need them, or you'll just have to make up the answers for them once it's too late for them to decide. But obviously the more answers you can get from them, the better it is for both them and for you, because then you'll be prepared and they will get what they want when they're no longer able to decide for themselves. But not everyone can have that fairy tale ending. So just do what you can to make things easier for yourself. And if that means getting into an argument and getting answers, if you think they can actually weasel out an answer for you if you push hard enough, then do it. But if you think it's going to end in just more bitter fights and arguments and end with everyone being pissed at each other and sad and heartbroken, then maybe shelve the conversation and just try to pay attention to what they tend to choose for themselves. Take notes. It's, again, if you don't get answers from them, it'll just mean more work for you. Sucks to suck. We got nice chunks of little pearl barley. Those are Mom's. It's very flavorful. I think we could have done less ginger, for sure, but it's not making it too bad. The extra ginger gives it sort of like a medicinally bitter vibe, but we have enough tartness in there to hold it down. Wow. The bone is very strange. It breaks like it's candy. It's not soft, it's crunchy. Like gritty crunchy. You see how I'm eating this bone? It has the texture of like a block of brown sugar that's hardened. Doesn't taste like anything either. Wow. Strange. Not like fish bones, no. They have like a gritty, grainy texture, but it's not like hurtful to you. Want to smell this bone? All right, folks, I'm gonna go eat, and Fred is gonna go beg me for food. I thank you all so much for joining this very long live. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a decent next week. Take it easy on yourself. You know, vitamins, water, sleep, all of that. You don't need me to mom you. Freddie, what do you want to say to the peoples? Do you want to give them advice? In your infinite wisdom, as the creator of our universe, how can we win at life? Okay. He says, ask for scritches and pats and food, and you shall win at life. I hope that was very helpful advice to you all, and I hope you carry that spirit of Fred into the upcoming week. Maybe I'll see you next weekend. Maybe not, though. No promises.